Ladies and gents, how are you doing? Those of you that pay attention, obviously, you watch this channel, are well aware that the government and loads of slippery little smear merchants have been moving in millions of unvetted foreign men and turfing good, hard-working British people out of their council houses to make room for them. Everyone knows this, but they've been lying about it for many years. Now, however, we can put a face and a name to just one of the creatures that's been making it happen. And we have irrefutable evidence that they have indeed been lying to the public, turfing good people out of the homes to make room for foreign men. You'll never guess what his name is. Just throw a name out there, because I bet some of you will get it right. Just his first name. You want to know it? Dr. Faisal Masrani, seen here in a BBC programme in 2018, spent 3.5 million buying an asylum seeker hotel. Faisal, there you go, Faisal. Well, I didn't think he was going to be called Bob Smith, did you? Right then, here we are. Behold the face of pure evil. Look at those cold, dead eyes. That's exactly the face he has when he's looking at an old lady's corpse shortly before he rogers her. This is a detestable creature, a phantom clad in human skin. Let's just read what he's been up to, shall we? More than 100 people were threatened with eviction from their homes to make way for us. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you know that thing that all the lefty media told you definitely wasn't happening? Yeah, turns out, definitely is. Well, blow me down with a feather. Decent people evicted from the homes after companies linked to a prominent GP started running migrant hotels. Firms connected to Dr. Faisal Masrani, yeah, and he probably got his medical degree out of a box of Frosties. This fella, you know, I'd rather let a lumberjack goad my organs with a sharp stick than trust a British surgeon these days. Christ on a bike. Firms connected to Faisal became landlords of Serco hotels in 2022 when asylum applications were at a 20-year high. But soon after, a hotel in Seal Street in Liverpool, owned by one of the firms, was found to be unsuitable, people in one of their Liverpool housing complexes were told they had to move out over urgent fire safety issues. It's unbelievable, isn't it? You've got to get out, lads. You've got to get out. Why? Fire safety issue. Yeah, we'll go with that line this week. Fire safety issues, yeah. Okay, so while I'm carrying my couch out, why have I just walked past 40 Afghans carrying all their belongings in? I mean, it doesn't really add up, does it? Obviously, all those people were unaware that 116 asylum seekers had seemingly been lined up to replace them almost immediately. Well. I mean, it's no surprise, is it? We are led by the detritus of humanity. People like Starmer, who went on telly slagging off Trump for being a little bit clumsy with his words whilst criticising NATO. He was slagging him off, and all the while he was working pro bono to nail innocent soldiers' feet to the floor for money. Imagine selling your own country out for money. That's how much of a creature the Prime Minister is. But they're all at it. These maggots will turf out hard-working English men and women to make room for unvetted migrant men. And this is after we've had suicide bombings, decapitations, exploding pop concert, 250,000 little girls getting diddled. And these blokes are like, oh, you know what we need more of? Asylum seekers, yeah. Turf those working class trash out of their properties and stuff them, jam them to the rafters with hairy-arsed men from the third world. Why? Because I want a bit more money. Unbelievable. They have the morals of a sewer rat. If there was any justice, if the gods could hear my prayers, at the very least that could happen is Faisal would find a lump on his plums next time he's in the shower. Oh God, these people are truly detestable. Sorry, rant over. Let's attempt to finish the story before I blow a gasket. Masrani, whose involvement with one of the firms was hidden behind a complex structure of companies, you don't say, and trusts registered in the Isle of Man, said he had no part in the day-to-day running of the buildings and didn't authorise any communication with tenants. Yeah, of course he didn't. Masrani operates several GP surgeries and in 2009 set up a social isolation charity. And it's unbelievable. They're like the mafia. They set up charities because it gives them a public face that looks decent, when in actual fact, he's got the morals of Harold Shipman on a bad day. In November, one of his companies spent $3.5 million buying the King's Gap Hotel in Hoylake, which had been running as an asylum seeker accommodation since 2020. And at the same time, asylum seekers were moved into the Seal Street Hotel as the firm's relationships with Serco and the Home Office expanded. The BBC's investigations suggest it was the use of that hotel that directly led to dozens of people almost losing their homes in an alleged illegal eviction attempt. Oh, I'm sure it was definitely a little bit more than alleged. A tenant at Parliament Place in Liverpool told the BBC he came home from work in March 2023 to find a letter from Schloss Roxburgh Holdings, and he said he was in disbelief at what the letter said. The letter told tenants they needed to move out because the building required urgent fire safety works. People were afraid and panicking, and they didn't want to be evicted. Yeah, but you wanted to make room for a lot of Afghans, didn't you? Because this is the only silver lining to this dark cloud is, do you want to see a picture of the bloke who's telling us how upset he is that he was evicted to make room for asylum seekers? Want to see a picture? There he is. There he is. And I've told you, humans are like bananas. The outside displays what's inside. You can tell by looking at him that he's like one of these daft Geordies who voted Labour for 20 years and then goes, why is the tune full of Somalian pirates like? I cannot understand it. You asked for it, mate. You asked for it, mate. This is the only silver lining. This wanker, I guarantee, goes out wearing a refugees welcome t-shirt. So you got what you asked for, son. You got what you asked for. In fact, 60% of Liverpool are communists. So you're getting what you asked for, lads. Don't complain. In fact, I think I'll call it there. It's knocked the wind out my sails, this revelation. It's in Liverpool, and the first bloke they talk to looks like that. So don't tell me that that's not exactly what he voted for. These people want to get evicted, to give the houses to Afghans. And in fact, you know what? All's forgiven, Faisal. And Scotland voted for the SNP for 15 years. So the way I see it, England's perfectly within its rights after voting for Conservatives for 14 years to send every single Afghan and Iraqi and Somalian north of Hadrian's Wall. That's fair, isn't it? I mean, that's what you wanted. That's what you're voting for if you go to these places. So maybe that can be the new system. If you're in an area that voted right-wing, 0 migrants. And if you're in an area that voted left-wing, you take every single one of them that the right-wing areas foist upon you. I think that's a fantastic idea. We'll see how fast Knightsbridge embraces Nick Griffin's politics, when all those middle-class Guardian-reading parents go to drop Tarquin and Guinevere off at school, and there's 14 Moroccans wanking outside it. So there you go. To sum up neatly, Faisal is the author of your gloom if you live in Liverpool and you got evicted last year. Tribal politics are a thing, and blokes called Faisal shouldn't be trusted to buy or sell anything in the UK because they have a dog in the hunt and they don't care what happens as long as they can import a few million more of their brothers in their desperate quest to make the entire of Western Europe a caliphate that stinks of shit. And if this keeps up in 10 years' time, your granny won't be able to walk to Tesco without getting a somewhat swarthy-looking hand rammed down the front of her knickers. This is where we're going. It's completely batshit. The government is complicit, and you should be very, very angry about it. Unless you voted for woke politicians, then shut up, pack your bags, and get out. You deserve it. All right? I think that's me for the day. Let me know if you disagree with anything I've said in the comments. If you're an angry scouser who voted Conservative, move. Just move. 60% of your city has the same politics as Jeremy Corbyn. So just move, lads. It's the only advice I can give you. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you disagree. As always, have a marvellous weekend. And I'll see you on Monday. All right? Toodle pip. Cheers.